Welcome on There Beats TV. This is Kay. Tonight we're in Viper Theatre for Atomic Events. It's a pleasure for me to introduce one of the greatest techno artists of our generation. A worldwide requested producer and DJ. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Liebing in the sofa.
Well, that's some introduction. Thank you very much. I have just played 4 hours, I think, and it was my second time here at Viper. And the first time was about 2 years ago, and I came here and I really had no idea. I've been playing in Florence for quite a bit already for the past 10 years. But 2 years ago, as I went to Viper for the first time, I never really heard about this location much before, because as you can see, I think it's also used for a lot of concerts and like alternative rock and everything. If you look around the wall, it's like really a great vibe in here as well. And I came here and I played here, and I had such a fantastic night. Such a beautiful venue somehow. As a DJ, you really have like a really nice view of the crowd, and you can really build up a nice vibe in here. And I was really looking forward to come back. And tonight was again an amazing experience, and I just want to say thanks to all the Italians here in Florence who make such a great night possible. It's amazing to have such a good kind of vibe and sound with so many people that brings you together, you know, and have fun together.
Also.
Yeah, it's really nice. So, grazie mille.
More than 20 years of a beautiful career. I would like to know something about your first set in Omen Club.
Oh.
Yeah, the legendary Center for European Electronic Music.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it?
Oh man, how much time do you have? It's a long story. At that time I was working for a record label called Harthouse IQ, and that was based in Frankfurt. But I was always like DJing in small clubs, you know, and I'd never really been to Omen in my life, actually. Yeah, it was around the corner, but I somehow always played myself, and I never really went. And one day I was sitting in the record company on a Friday night, and our label manager came in, and he told me, "Hey, you know, it's our label night tonight, but my partner is sick, and he can't come. And everyone else I've been asking is playing somewhere. Come on, do you want to play it just like the first 2 hours in Omen?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure.
Why not?
Why not? I'll do it." And so that night, because I haven't really been many times to Omen at that time, and at that time I still wasn't living in Frankfurt, I was living outside Frankfurt, so I didn't know Frankfurt really well. So I had to drive into town to get to my gig, and I actually came late because I couldn't find it. And so I raced in, and I remember I raced downstairs, and I saw the managers, and they were like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the label manager sent me. I was supposed to play a bit in the start." And he's like, "Well, then go and play music." And I started to play, and immediately you were like noticing the energy in this club. So this club really had a reputation to be a really special place, and it was. I've never been in there before, and I noticed right away that the DJ booth was in the corner, and it was like kind of built as a triangle, and it kind of triangle that sends the power out to the people, you know. And it was the first night I played there was such an amazing experience. I didn't end up playing only 2 hours because the label manager at that time came in, and he didn't want to start until like 5 in the morning. So I ended up playing kind of like 6 hours, and I really had a lot of fun. And that was very lucky for me. I mean, so many people wanted to play in the Omen, and I was just like, I kind of didn't even try really, you know, and it came, and then later on I went again downstairs, saw the managers, and they were like, "Oh, we heard it was a good night. Maybe we can have your phone number." And I'm like, "Sure." So yeah, sure. And so they called me like 3 days later. "Can you come again on the weekend? Because this guy can't come and this guy." And I'm like, "Sure." And that was the start playing at the Omen for the last 3 years that the club was open. And that was basically my DJ school. I really learned a lot there. You learned how to warm up a night, to play before guest DJs come in, and to play really long sets towards the end because it was always open end. So sometimes it went on till 10 or 11. And you really learned how to play like long sets. And I still enjoy that very much today. Yeah, playing long sets with a nice crowd that kind of also follows you a little bit, you know, and over longer periods of time. And I kind of had these 4 hours tonight, and it was the same thing, you know. It's just great. It's the same. It's amazing.
I want to know something like, what were your inspiration to start playing techno music?
I don't really know. Is that before I played techno music, I always looked for the faster records, the records that had a little bit more energy. And I ended up playing then like more housey stuff. That was like beginning of the 90s and mid of the 90s, like strictly rhythm label, you know, like housey things. And that was kind of my thing. But every time something new came out, I tended to like the harder stuff. You know, some people always went for the housey stuff, and I was like, oh no, this is really good. So I heard it. I was listening a lot to DJ Pierre on Strictly Rhythm and all these really trippy long tracks, like 10, 11 minutes of like acid going on. And that was kind of my start. So I got into this, and once I got there, I couldn't go back, because before I was playing loads of different kinds of music, like in a student club, you know, like soul, funk, hip hop, rock and roll, funky, you know, really great music. But at some point I got the electronic music virus, and I couldn't go back. I was like, I have to do this. This is really my thing. Yeah.
It's like when you start, it's really difficult to finish to do it.
It's exactly, and I still haven't finished.
I want to know something more. DJ Meg, in an interview with Marco Carola, said that there is no talent worth to be called South in Italy.
What? Did he say that?
Yeah.
What? Is he crazy? Come on. This is like really techno country. For me, it's always amazing to come to Italy, because the people are really like happy listening to the music and enjoying their time, you know. And they don't really necessarily expect a certain like hard style or whatever, you know. They follow you. And there's so much new talent in Italy. Like, it's not even new. I mean, you see the Neapolitanian scene, you know, with Joseph Capriati, Marcantonio, Lino Cerrone. There's so many people coming from all over the place. And I see in Rome there's like a big kind of nice techno scene coming up too. So I don't really think that Marco really looked at the Italian scene at the moment. I think it's got some nice stuff going on. Man, Time Warp was like this year's, like, it basically showed everything what Italy is about. People are just enjoying themselves a lot, and the quality of the productions is really good by now, and so the quality of productions is been growing everywhere, kind of thing, you know. It's like same thing in Holland. Like when I go DJing, the places where I go most at the moment is kind of Holland and just Germany, Italy, and some Eastern European countries. And it's the Time Warp showed there was such a vibe, you know. There was a lot of people. It was funny. A lot of people from Holland were there, who do Time Warp Holland, you know. And they are used to Dutch crowds, which is loads of fun too. But Dutch crowds are usually very stoned sometimes, yeah. And they're really enjoying themselves, but they're just not so outgoing, yeah. And here in Italy, the Time Warp, like, they were standing there like, what is going on here? These people are just celebrating like all the time. It's just like,
for like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's Italy. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, really.
Thank you. Grazie.
And what do you think about the energy of the Florence dance floor?
Oh, it's always been good. Yeah.
It's really moving.
Yes, it's always been good. For some reason, I came, I think, to Florence first time 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and there was always good parties here with loads of people. It's amazing. A beautiful city. You can be blessed. Nice.
Also, you've been in the Chianti. You've seen the countryside of Tuscany.
I have never really been to the countryside. I know so much about Tuscany because I also like wines and everything, but I've never had the time. One day when I retire, I come here.
You must.
Yes.
Chris, I would like to thank you for your time, your music, and your words. But one last question. I want to know, you were one of the first DJs to explore the breakthrough in electronic music in a creative way. In your opinion, what will be the new technical and musical turning point?
Wow, that you can even do more manipulation of the music in real time, kind of like live music, you know? That you can really, that you have tools at hand where you can play the music of yourself and other people and make it sound exactly the way you want it to sound for that moment. And maybe there's even controllers which touch screens or anything, you know, that the people can follow what you're doing, you know, to build yourself an instrument, an electronic instrument, and play a night. I think that's kind of like where it goes, you know. Like when I look at my equipment now, I more or less see it as my instrument that I'm playing. And there's a lot of music coming out of that instrument, you know. It's not only like dedicated to one certain sound, but it's a different concept, I think, than normal old style instruments. It's quite a powerful machine, and I think there's a lot more that you can do to in real time manipulate music. That's good.
This is really good. Thanks to this fabulous DJ, and see you next year. Definitely.
Next year. Good night, everyone.
Therbis TV. Thank you.